Hi everyone, SoulServer17 here. Let me get first as usual. I do not own these pictures. Own this picture in non-paid video. Okay, so last time we left off, we just had Azia become the queen and bishop, the queen of Issei's Parage, along with a part of Risa's Parage, along with then Sir Zex, showing up along with Ajuka. I just saw someone comment saying about the White Dragon Emperor's like Sacred's Divine Divide. Thought I mentioned that, but I honestly, I don't know why. I just like to basically say Volley's Sacred Gear are very, very different. I just call him the White Dragon Emperor. It's more easy. And the Vanishing Dragon, I know it's like the balance breaker. I guess, who cares for me right now? It is basically 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm making this. I tried to sleep, I couldn't. So, my mind may trail off, and it's not going to be a very long video. So, my apologies to anyone for that, and yeah. But if not, then I'm going to get to the part where I want, and I'm trying to basically only get to the training part, maybe, because there's a lot of things that is going to be cut down in this. So, let's just get into it. So basically, after Issei says, "Oh, looks like I may be in trouble," you know, basically, just to sum it up, or so as everyone is in shock on reason why Sir Zex and Ajuka is there. Basically, though, like Ria says, um, brother, why are you here? As he goes, I was with Ajuka and something happened in the system of the reincarnation. They said a bishop and a queen piece was used at once. As Andrew goes, yes, and we came here to see the reason. Why are you here, Lady Grummery, in which she says, we sense. Hold on. All right. Sorry, but anyways, as then, like I was saying, Rhea says we sensed a large amount of magic power coming from here. It was just in one instant, but we already had the location, and that's why we're here. We came to see. As then Issei is just looking at everyone. He goes, Azia, it seems that we have to explain, well, not you, but me specifically. I apologize for, well, them have to see the way you are, so. As basically, all of a sudden, a magical circle appears on his hand, as then it basically goes up, and instantly a jacket comes out of it. As then he basically hands it to her and goes, put this on. As she nods and does. In which everyone knows that. And Sir Zex is like, wait, do I know you? He's like, oh, well, my attitude has changed quite a bit, but I believe you do. How about this? Sup, bro? In which Zex just kind of blinked for a few minutes, and he's like, Issei? Is that you? He's like, yeah, it's me. It's Issei. Issei Hodo. Well, I mean, kind of funny thing. But anyways, how's Rolling Down the World doing? Well, I mean, as one of the 4 Satans. As then Sir Zex is like, wait, you know how? He's like, oh, well, how should I say this without freaking you out? But I'm, uh, well, and then he just scratches back at his head. He's like, actually, it's kind of difficult to say. I probably need to have some reassurance, so I will. I will have to train with her later tonight, but it'll be a lot sooner than normal. As then all of a sudden, he snaps his fingers, as then a magical circle appears and flames, come out of the ground as Ravel, appears. Basically, I would think, I kind of want to make it like, for some reason, Ravel will be like saying, like Retalia, like she basically Retalia was saying Master Nafumi. Ravel will say Master Issei, but I was like, that's not her. She would just go like, okay. So basically, I just thought this part was like, she goes, Issei, why did you summon me? It's not our time to train. Had to wait till my parents were asleep. Remember? And then he looks at her, at her. He goes like, "My apologies, Ravel, but I need your help to explain something for me, if you do not mind." As she goes, "Wait, why do you?" As then he points over to everyone, which everyone is shocked just to see Ravel there. As then Sir Zex goes, Lady Phoenix, why are you here?" And she goes, "Oh, I see why then. Of course." As then Issa goes like, "Sir Zex, you know you may or may not know, but the Phoenix clan have a contract of blood, a blood contract, only with, the former Cain of the underworld, before the four Satans were reborn, and the old, children or ancestors of them took over the places, I presume, which he does not, and goes, yes, um, Riser's father mentioned it to me only one time about how they, the original Phoenix, the one who basically made the clan, was basically in a contract of blood with Satan. And Issei nods, and he goes, yes, and Phoenix, will you explain this more in detail? And she goes, certainly. So, she basically says, basically just like, here's the gist of it, she goes, our contract is basically where we'll only serve that person, aka Satan, and any, blood relative of his. You see, we basically will do anything they want without any, how should I say this? As an Issei says, without any disagreement or, well, how this will be quite shocking, but, without no remorse. If they say to kill, the Phoenix clan will kill whoever that, well, member of the family wants dead. In which everyone is shocked as, Ravel nods. But since they have been no one for about 4 generations, well, technically, after the very first Phoenix, there's only been 3, since me and my brother are the 4th generation of Phoenix. My brother did not believe in it, but I somewhat did when I was younger, and I wished to be a servant to that Satan. It was a childish dream because, well, my father spoke highly of how my great grandfather talked about him. So I always wanted to meet basically the leader of the underworld, but heard he was dead. But a few, days ago, I was summoned to the human world by Issei Hudo, whose name, second last name, shocked me. And to be quite honest, he basically made very good points. So, I technically am, even though I do not have an evil piece within me, that would say I'm a part of his Purage, I am still a servant of his. In which Surzex, like, in his head, there's like everything just clicked as he goes, as then all of a sudden he just starts chuckling, which everyone's confused, as then Issei smiles. He goes, it seems you figured it out, big brother. He goes, Issei, I knew you were like your father. Well, your looks, but to think he actually was who he said he was. uh, this explains a lot then. In which Issei kind of says, well, he may not know the reason, but he wants to just confirm it. He goes, the reason why you came to the funeral, which he does not. It was 2 months before, your father's mother's passing. I received a call from, a human, I thought. basically, he said that he was the former leader of the underworld, and he had a bad feeling that something bad may happen, and he doesn't know what. I told him, or I should say, asked him how to even know who I am and know where I was at this moment, to even know a secure way to even find me. He said it does not matter since he has not much time. He basically begged me just to, how should I say this? As an issei just says, to look after me after his, passing, and my mother's, right? He does, which Surzek's not. He goes, for some reason, I was about to dismiss it all, but I didn't. In the end, I, felt obligated to, I needed to listen to him. And I was interested. After I said I will, and I'll do as much as I can, he basically thanked me. And he hoped nothing bad would happen to the where it would never have, be needed for me to look after you. In which Issei just chuckles. He goes, my dad really always did care for me. About my safety. I should have figured as much. In which Surzex nods. And so Reese goes like, but wait, why do you call my brother your brother? And then Ethan goes like, oh, simple. He's like a brother to me. He's older than me, so big brother. In which technically Surzex goes like, yeah, he's like a little brother to me too. We technically hang out whenever I'm off, and well, basically, I've been meaning to ask you something. He's like, hmm? Do you remember that, well, that maid I had with me that one time I came to visit you on Christmas? He goes, yeah, I think her name was Griffia, right? In which he does nod. He goes, what's up? He's like, has she ever come by, such and such dates? And he's like, no. But I do have a neighbor that always goes overseas, and whenever she's around, basically back from it, she always comes by and, takes care of me. She does spend a good month or two in her house that's right next door. She's only lives alone. She said she doesn't want to get into a relationship because of certain events, so she just been taking care of me like I was her own child ever since last year. Well, technically I'm in my second year, so 2 years ago. She even helped me find the job I told you about that pays me 20,000 yen. And which sort of was like, really? Oh, that's good. As then Reese goes like, wait. Are we just gonna ignore the fact that you're not telling us who he is? I mean, I think I kind of never made them say it. As then Issei just sighs and be like, "Am I really the pawn to basically a king who can't even comprehend this?" In which she's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I am legit the son of Satan." How is that not obvious enough? I basically already explained it all to you. In which that let's say when she kind of realized it, she went to shock, but then forgot. Now she's in shock again, and then but this time she remembers. Everyone is shocked, even Kaneko. In which, then Rias asked, then why didn't you, or why won't you not let us basically try getting into the barrage, and everyone in the cult club can meet you? And he was like, to be frank, I did not want to waste my time with the contracts. And basically trying to become maybe I don't know one of the get clients because I had way more important things to do at the time. In which he was like, "Huh?" In which there's actually, pray tell. He's like, "Certainly." Basically, train with a rival here, come with a strategy, learn about my powers. I basically mastered already some magic of low tier, mid tiers, like basically magic. So that's a good thing. I basically, how should I say this? I basically am, well, way more powerful than most devils. So, yeah, and plus, I can use holy magic. I had to get pretty much good control of that for a bit. I trained on my own, and I still practice my martial arts training. So, and I have my job, which I may have to, well, leave. The pay is such good too. In which everyone's kind of shocked by that, and then Sir Zex goes like, "How much they pay you?" He's like, "Huh? How much they pay you?" He's like, well, 20, 20,000 yen for 5 days for 4 hours, sometimes 6. If I'm needed, I get called in early. I work at 5 o'clock. I clock in 2 minutes ahead, so about 4 hours and 2 minutes. I mean, wait, no, I meant wait. Okay, let me just double check. So 5, yeah, okay, okay, it'll be not 6. It'll be 5 extra hour. So yeah, which then sure Zaxxio was like, so you work 5 days, get paid every Saturday, right? As you said that one time, he's like, yes, I'd have weekends off, and that adds up to about basically 40 mil times 2. That's 80 mil. So basically, you make about 80 mil every 2 weeks. That's a good enough budget for you. And well, you probably have some money left over. And he was like, yes, yes, but the money I have that I saved for about, well, 2 years will only last me, well, probably 2 years and 1 month. And when Cersei goes like, true, so I'll give you an allowance. You can pay, well, every month. Alright? He's like, wait, so the same amount I get money for every month you'll give me as an allowance? He was like, yes. Is that a problem? He's like, well, I mean, I wanted to be independent, but fine, that's okay. I'm okay with that. In which, Sir Sex nods. As Andruka goes like, okay, okay, okay. First, let me ask you this. Lord, he was like, no, just issei. No formalities, please. He's like, okay, issei. Why was there an error in the reincarnation cycle that said a bishop and a queen piece was used in the same person at once? In which Issei goes like, oh, simple fact. I basically merged them both together and then give it to that one person. In which Ajuka, everyone is shocked. Ravel is like, is there anything you can't do? He was like, possibly. I just have to find it. Which he was like, okay. Which, Ozzy goes like, hello. He's like, oh, yes, Rias, meet your bishop and my queen. Which he goes, huh? He's like, I sort of borrowed your bishop piece. Don't worry, her basically sacred gear is really good. He's like, what is it? He was like, then he goes, Twilight healing. So, I mean, this is kind of a good thing if you really think about it. A healer with offensive spells. In which Rias does kind of like think to herself that really is a good idea, but it's not even fair. And basically, Ajuko's like, wait, so that means, yes, I technically can. I basically kind of disassembled them on a molecular structure and then reassembled them the same way. But it was a combination. In which he was like, that's sort of like alchemy, but there's no equivalent, you know what I mean? How basically you need to exchange something for something else. I cannot say that word no more. Wow, equivocal exchange? Yeah, that. And Issei goes like, well, technically it was magic. Basically, not disintegration magic, but disassemble magic that I may or may not have made just for something like this just ever happened, and then basically used it to reassemble magic. Also may have something I made. I get bored. Came up with the idea, tried it out. Was able to disassemble a system and then reassemble it. Disassemble a system, basically a game system that I had, and then reassembled it. Blah. My mind, my mouth, not my mouth, but my word and my mind and my mouth are not going the right way. Yeah, reassemble it. So, as basically, everyone's kind of shocked, but then Mr. Zex goes like, well, there's magic already of that. And he was like, oh, well then, okay. And so, everyone just like, kind of just standing there, and then it was like, I wonder how long you guys will notice. In which everyone's kind of confused, as then issei just says, you can come out now, Fallen. In which a girl with black short hair comes out. Okay, by the way, I forgot to mention, I'm bringing two characters in to this series just because I want to have some diversity. Basically, I'm bringing one character from Attack on Titan and one character from SAO. So, basically, as we see I just want to double check something. Okay, so basically, short black hair with gray eyes. As then basically, her outfit she's wearing is, well, a red shirt with a, well, red jacket. Basically, yeah, just black jacket with, let's just say, blue pants and sneakers. In which issei kind of, well, basically chuckles. He was like, you aren't like the other ones that I sent away to the Grigori, right? In which he was, yes, I was here by, Azazel to, well, capture them. As I came here, you already took care of them. He goes, I figured I sensed something that was here, but I did not care at the time. I did what I needed to be done. Anyways, tell Azazel that he's welcome, which she does not. But when she's like turning away, she basically sees everyone, and then she does basically see Ajuka and Sir Zex, and then she basically bows and says, basically, I'm sorry for any of the other ones that have caused trouble. We'll take measurements to make sure this never happens again. In which Akano is just surprised, as well. Basically, though, Issei goes, "May I have your name?" And she just says it's Mikasa. In which then basically everyone can hear Akano. Well, no one can hear Akano, but Rias knows that she is shaking. Like, not with anger, but in shock, and, well, kind of, for many reasons you'll find out. But, anyways, just in surprise, and maybe almost having a little mental breakdown, but not as much. But not really, because then Rita says, Akano, are you okay? Which Mikasa eyes widen, and then basically she's looking at Akano, and then basically she easily gets her composure back before she freaked out, and she goes, I'll be on my way. Goodbye. Issei goes, Issei Hudo. Just please, keep the part about my other name a secret. I want to keep my existence relatively low and unknown, for now at least. In which she does not, and she basically flies away. In which Sir Zex goes like, wait, you mean you don't want the underworld to know? In which Issei goes, no, not really, not right now. Those councils people will try to have me have multiple wives. So, I'd rather have some freedom before, I have to choose which ones to marry. In which everyone's kind of shocked, as basically Ajuko goes, why? He's like, because who my father is, and, well, they'll just do exactly that. Try and be with people that I don't like. So, I want to just find people I like or something before that even happens. Anyways, though, this isn't a very, good place to talk. How about we talk at my place? As Emily snaps his fingers, a magical circle goes all around them, and then basically they all get summoned back to his house. As when they do, basically they're in the living room, as all of a sudden they hear the sound of someone like humming a tune. As then Issei goes like, wait, is that really her? As when he looks, he's back to his normal voice. As when this person turns around, Sir Zex is shocked, along with Frias, and Akano, and Konako. I think even Ajuka. As then he goes like, wait, it is you, Amali. I don't know, that just popped in my head. Okay, I didn't think of anything. As then basically this woman named Amali is like, Issei, you weren't home when I came by, so I decided to basically make dinner for you. And you, didn't use a door. Oh, and, who are your friends? As they say, she's kind of in a sweat going down, as in, basically, well, how should I say this? Sir Zex knows this energy. He was like, Griffia? Is that you? And she was like, no, I don't know who this script is. And then Issa goes like, cut the act already. Even I can tell who you are, and I never met you before. Well, technically only that one time. But I already know because of my, certain things. As then she was like, fine. As Griffia has a magical, circle, I basically changed her form back to normal. Basically her hair and stuff. As Sir Zex like, Griffia, why are you here? He was like, well, Sir Zex, after you told me about the boy, I thought it'd be better for him to have someone basically always nearby. And I noticed, I basically came around this area on my time off for that one day, and I noticed this house next to his was for sale. I kind of used my money and bought it. And basically, I live there every so often, make sure that he, is basically doing everything okay for himself. In which then Sir Zesk goes like, I see. Thank you then for looking out for him. She goes, it's really no problem. As then Issei goes like, man, how many people in the supernatural I knew before I even knew about the supernatural? Kind of ironic. In which Sir Zeus does not. As then so, everyone's sitting down. As basically, though, Griffia is cooking as Issei decides, and like, want me to help, Griffia? She was like, no, it's fine. You can, wait, you can use magic? She just realized, and he was like, oh, yes. I'll explain later. Just allow me to help. So while everyone is basically, talking and chatting, Ravel is talking to Azia is talking to Ravel, which everyone's kind of confused. After dinner's made and such, he basically has everyone come to the table. A few people can't sit there, so they had to sit on the couch with, couch and living room. But Issei sits basically in the living room area, as then basically Sir Zex goes like, Issei, why is, I know Ravel, is here. I just want to know why, um, why did you mention about your plan? He was like, oh yes, since my king, basically Rias, Gremory, is in an arranged marriage that she does not like, I have her as being my spy. Basically, keeping me up to date with anything about her brother's plans, and so I may exploit them if I ever so need to. Or I can just, take away something from him, as my father gave the very first phoenix power, it can be easily taken away by me. As then, that kind of shocked everyone because it's like well heard, which we're just like, wait, what? As then basically Ravel goes like, uh-huh. He came up with a plan how to, well, get my brother to be, well, my brother to change and have a good beating while at it. As then Issei goes like, it's not a good plan, but it's a plan nonetheless. In which everyone is shocked. But, before Juko can say anything, Issei puts up his hand and goes like, and I know he's an immortal phoenix. But, because of the contract, I have a few things I can do to him that, well, not many people know. In which he just nods. So, after discussing everything, and even deciding where Ozzy is gonna live, we basically, even servers us get some, good, basically, information from Issei on about some things, even about Michael, you know. So it's kind of like he's okay with this. I mean, technically Michael's family, so But anyways, he basically says, "Oh yes, I almost forgot." As then all of a sudden he puts out his left arm, as then all of a sudden it starts glowing as something basically forms around it. Wait a minute. As after the light disappears, basically everyone can see the boosted gear, but it has like a weird glow in the crystal. It's basically multiple colors. As an Issei goes like, this is the boosted gear. It's basically though not exactly as everyone knows now, because of me. Well, not specifically me. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna explain anything of it. Just here. As when he just snaps his fingers, magical circles come around everyone's head. As then basically like energy goes into their heads basically from this magical circle. So they got the information that is needed as everyone is shocked by this. He goes, yes, I know, I can use almost every single longitis, sacred gear, boosted gear, whatever, along with two other gears that are made specifically for me. Let's not make a big deal about it, please. I'm still training in it, and I can handle about how many boosts, Drake? Okay. So then Drake tells everyone out loud, he says, well, technically because of those inefficient gravity spells that you have made on yourself to handle with weight and train, you basically can handle about 60 boosts non-stop. Along with, well, if you went to Balance Breaker, you only last about for 30 minutes. He was like, interesting. Alright then. As basically then the boosted gear disappears, as everyone is shocked by this. Still, so, he says, so I have the son of Satan, who was the king of the underworld, on my side, as my pawn, who basically can have a barrage of his own, in which he nods yes, and who also then has one of the boosted gear, one of this, basically, the longitis gear, basically, and, well, basically, since because of who you are, it changed because God wanted it to be this way, which Issei says yes. And the fact you can use holy magic and use any magic known to date. And he goes, yes. Then she just basically goes like, I need to go home and sleep. As everyone agrees. So, wait, give me a minute now. Alright, sorry about that, everyone. But anyways, after, like I said, everyone agreed, Issei says to Sir Zex, basically this, he was like, Sir Zex, can you please not tell the council or anyone else about my existence? I would like to do it when the time is right. In which he does nod, basically even looks at Jukas, as he also nods too. He was like,
not basically this is what you could say, and not people will believe us that saying the son of patience is still alive. And basically Issei just chuckled. And he goes, I understand. Anyway, it was good to have company. I'd like to have you all come back again. Good as we have a lot of talking with everyone in the Parag then. And I'm also getting my allowances back because I will have to tell my job I will have to quit because of circumstances. In which the switch was like, oh, Sophia, what's the place he works at? She was telling them the name of the place he works at, and which was, I'll take care of it. He was like, you sure? He was like, yeah. I don't really want to, do what you want based on attendance, but let me do it. Alright, which you say nod. So after Magical Circle, basically Silva disappears and has the future, and then Aditya just says goodbye to him, and she leaves. Now, without, so she's gonna go.
Basically, though, he decides and be like, anyways, you have so many questions. What is it? As he looks at everyone, and that's not Azia. In which Rios goes like, how long? He goes, oh, well, ever since Renair killed me, and you resurrected me. By the way, I'm a half-breed. Well, I was. FYI. In which her basically was like, wait, when you was like, I was a half-breed until, well, you turned me into, well, supposedly, a devil. So, I am technically a half-breed no longer. But I still consider myself human. In which Ryu goes like, so wait, that means you're pure blood? He's like, uh-huh. I'm 100% pure blood and 50% human. In which I just looks at him confused, like, because I still consider myself human. I'm not gonna, basically, like, all of a sudden, just because I became a pure blood, I'm gonna be like, oh, all high class and noble, like, no. I'm gonna be the way who I am. But my attitude and my mentality has, well, slightly changed. But I'm still the same issei. Basically, as then, well, everyone just nods. So, he does then look at Azia. He goes like, Azia, I have enough room in this house for, well, you to stay here. Do not worry about it, okay? When she goes like, are you sure? He was like, yes. But Rios, can you have her go into, well, Kuo, like us? Which she goes, I can see what I can do. He was like, thank you. Anyways, I'll see you all tomorrow. And Kaneko, um, well, I don't know if you're mad at me for not telling you, but I didn't want Rios to know, but in which not Rios, but Kaneko says, yeah, Rios told me to keep an eye on you. You're always really good at sneaking away. He goes, well, hiding my presence isn't so easy when you can still follow me. So I had to, well, sneak away into an alley and teleport away. With the most lowest teleportation spell ever. And which goes, I see. So, after everyone leaves and Issei shows, well, to Azia's room, he basically just says, what type of, well, what do you like, Azia? And she goes, so she just tells, him what she would like in her room, and then all of a sudden he basically just has his hand out, and then a bright light appears, in which then Azia's room is like in canon. And when she goes, "Thank you," Issei. This is really, well, the kind of thing you ever gave me. And he goes, "It's no problem. Now get some rest. I probably won't be here, but I can leave a magical bear around here to protect you just in case. All right?" Which she does nod. So, like in canon, well, technically, right when he wakes up, he receives a phone call. As he was like, uh, phone call this early in the morning. As basically he goes down, he basically, uh, Hyodo residence, just Issei. He was like, Rias? I'm not going to ask how you got my number, probably from Sonia. She goes, yep. He was like, okay, what do you need? She goes, Ozzy can come to school today. He's like, you sure? She goes, yeah. Um, basically, I already dropped off her uniform. He's like, thank you. I'll see you at the Colt Club. As then he basically hangs up. In which then he basically picks up the uniform and, well, he basically goes upstairs and knocks on the door to her room. He goes, Azia, you awake? And when she goes, yes, I'm awake. He's like, I'm coming in. Is that alright? She goes, that's okay. So he does. And he basically sees Azia just trying to find an outfit just to wear. And he was like, oh, that was Rias on the phone. You basically can come to school today, and here's the uniform. It's about 6 o'clock. We have about an hour. I'll make breakfast right away. And after I do my thing, I mean. So basically, after what he does, basically gets ready and stuff, he goes downstairs immediately making breakfast. Azia then was already down there, so, you know, he basically finished up breakfast for them as she's surprised of his cooking, and then he goes like, well, I had 2 years to cook. Griffith really did teach me well. But she goes, that's very nice of her. He's like, yeah, she's like a mother to me. Anyways, so after they eat, they go to school. So the introduction will happen for Azia as they ask her questions. And then she says she is, well, no, technically it would be, he basically goes to a co-club. They talk about and ask Azia how she likes it at Issei's house. She says she likes it very much. He's very kind already. That it's being shown, and Rias is saying that's good. And though Issei though is in the corner, well, basically on his phone, he's like, "Yes, I apologize. I can't basically, I basically can't be at work no more because my grades are failing. I really am sorry, sir." It was like, Issei, you've been working for us for 2 years. It's understandable. I just wish you my luck. Your I just wish you the best of luck, my boy. Keep in touch with us, okay? He's like, I will. That one, and I said goodbye, and I'll miss them all. As basically Issei hangs up. He goes, sorry about that, Rios. I had to take that call. And when she goes, your work? He's like, yes. They would just wanted to. The boss just wanted to wish me goodbye. So, anything I need to know about? Well, actually, you guys already know everything I have, and I already have a well of knowledge that I choose not to use because it's kind of a cheat code from a video game. She goes, well, everything that you know about basically how Devil Society and, well, what we do here works, then no. I will give you some basically contracts to fulfill tonight with Azia. Okay? He basically nods. So then it gets to the whole entire introductions, and then she tells everyone that she's living with Issei. His two friends don't get mad, but they just ask. Basically, it's like, dude, how did this happen? He was like, oh, I met her a couple of days ago, and she had nowhere to live. Actually, the place she was staying at, well, had problems. So, you know. Which they just put up the thumbs up saying, you really are a good guy, basically, as he goes. So, after that, we technically would then have for that night, Issei and her would just be handing out flyers, and then go to that same guy that basically wanted to become a magical girl, in which Issei just sighs and legit just hold out his hand, and all of a sudden, the guy just starts glowing and turns into an actual girl. He's like, there, I changed you into an actual girl. You're welcome. In which basically this person now saying thank you, thank you, thank you. I can finally live, finally have my dream come true. As then basically this girl now, well, woman actually asked if they want to watch the anime that basically she was, basically cosplaying as then Issei just says, yes, and I'll also change your clothing to fit your style, okay? In which, this person nods. And so, after he does that, he also says, oh, wait, is there any place where you work? As then the person does say, oh, yes, basically at such and such place. He just goes, okay. So all of a sudden, he basically just kind of just snaps his fingers and he goes now everyone you knew there at your place well, I kind of did a wide range of basically magic that will alter their memories, so everyone will think you're a girl, whoever met you. It's basically all over the city, in which basically that kind of surprised Ozia, but this person does say thank you again, and they do get the contract. In which, afterwards, when they return, Rias is basically surprised and, happy for the very first time making a contract. In which it's not one, but two. The payment was, let's just say, um, hmm, for Asia, basically, I could say a collector's item, and for Issei, just, I guess you could say some cash. So yeah, wait, hold on. So yeah, so basically though, let's just say though, yeah, okay. So basically, some stuff will go into canon, like Issei will help out the samurai and the guy in the knight. Basically, the girl in the samurai outfit and the knight guy get together. And along with them, we're just gonna skip to basically Sonya, coming up with her barrage to the cult club. In which then, Issei is just talking to Azia, Akano, and Kiba, along with Kaneko just eating sweets. Basically, though, while in school, Kaneko and Issei talk more at lunch. In which, basically, Akako's like, so, Kaneko, I noticed you've been talking to Issei a lot. Why is that? As basically, she just says, he's interesting. He basically can talk about the past, but he can come up with stories for certain things real quick. Including, he basically can bring me snacks anytime he wants. And then basically she's just chewing on some candy. In which Issei just chuckles and goes it's easy. I can simply summon it. I can simply summon it anytime I want. Any type of candy. So, I guess that's why we get along so well, maybe. And she goes, no, I just like you as a friend. And then, she just eats some more, basically food. And he goes well, that is basically makes me happy. As then all of a sudden the door opens. As then basically Sonya, Sabaki, Saji, and the rest of the Purage comes in. As basically Rias goes, she just comes in the room. She was like, Sonya, why are you here? She goes, oh, simple. Want to basically have your new recruits meet my new, not recruits. I mean servants meet my new servant. Wait, Issei Hudo? He goes, Sonya, it's a pleasure to meet you again. Wait, I just want to double check something. Okay, so basically, Saji is like, wait, Sonya, you know him? She goes, yes, Issei Hudo. He doesn't really cause much trouble around the school, but when I do see him, it's always just always to make small talk. He goes, yes, and I'm surprised you use a fake name, Sea-Tree. In which that raised her eyebrow and was a little bit shocked. And she goes, how did you? And he goes, don't worry. Everything will be revealed to you sometime soon. I promise you that. As then Saji goes, hey, give respect to her. To the Sea-Tree family. The next heiress. And he was like, I already know who she is. But, this is how you let your subordinates run around. Being arrogant. and cocky. And when she goes, Saji, enough. He goes, but, he goes, I said enough. In which she goes, yes, ma'am. In which she basically looks at Issei and goes like, I'm sorry for him. But then she goes, why am I saying sorry? And quickly, in which Rias goes, that was a good thing you did that, Sonia. In which, well, basically, Sai goes like, why should you even care? Like, Gremory, he's just a nobody, and, I mean, just a loser. I mean, he probably doesn't even have, he probably has one pawn. As then, then he said, also as in saying, but I had four. As in, Sonia says, he has eight. More than you. You should really check out your facts before gloating. As then Issei just chuckles, in which everyone's kind of confused, but not even Rias, no one knows this. And he goes, oh, yes, I have 8 pawn pieces, but, well, they're mutations. All 8 of them. In which everyone is shocked by. Well, technically, besides Rias' Parage, Sonia's Parage is shocked. In which Sonia's like, all 8? Why? As in, well, he just looks at Rias. He goes, do you trust her enough? In which she nods, and he goes, well, simple. As in, basically, he just shows her all his wings. In which it's all the double wings. He goes, because, dear Sonia, I am someone, well, I'm someone from a family that has been long forgotten. As then we see all the wings just disappear. In which she was like, wait, which family? He goes, the one who ruled over the underworld. My father, the king himself. In which she was, wait, you're. He goes, my full name is Issei Hudo Satan. But just probably Issei Satan will make more sense for now. In which everyone's shocked, but then Sanji's like, why is that such a big deal? As then basically, Sanji was like, well, that name is the name of the former king. And someone you should respect. In which Sanji's like, but it's Issei. He's just a pervert. He was like, no, that was all an act. My father told me to have, well, to keep myself hidden and not draw much attention to myself. So, and that's what I did. I mean, it also kind of helped that people always thought I was because of my 2 friends. Believe it or not, those 2 perverts said, well, everyone calls them, are actually the most, how should I say this right? Those 2 are the most trustworthy people I would know. Because when I needed them the most, they were there for me. So, I basically just went with the flow with that. And plus it'll make it a lot more easier, and I already trust them enough. In which, that kind of surprises everyone, including Konako. Not, I mean, they kind of know about the passing of his parents, but they don't know how. I mean, technically, Konako knows it, so she's not gonna tell no one. But anyways, though, in which Narius goes, why are you here anyway? She goes, oh, yes, there's another reason you already know, probably. And she goes, it's time for that then. In which she does nod. And then Issei goes like, huh? What's time? It goes, familiars. Basically, as she basically shows her familiar, and Akano, and Konako, and then, Kiba. And he goes, I see. Alright then. Well, when do we have to get one? Basically, she says, well, tonight. But, well, we don't know when. In which, basically, Issei goes like, oh, well, Then if Sonia basically, if I'm assuming, wants to get her own for Sanji, in which she does not. And he goes like, well then, a competition I say, right? In which they both, Rias and Sonia do look at each other and nod, and then Issei goes like, how about, well, before anyone settles on a good old-fashioned high school thing, because No offense to you two ladies. I assume you all, well, basically both you two, as he looks at Sonya, Sonya and Rias, will use magic along with both your queens, and then he looks at Akano Tsubaki. So, I suggest we are, well, going to use something that will not require any magic. As in, basically, with just a snap of his finger, a magical circle appears as basically a TV and a gaming console appears, and chairs. And they goes, and so, no one can use any magic. I will place the magical seals on you to suppress it. In which everyone's kind of shocked, and well, Rios goes like, "Wait, you can?" He was like, "Of course I can. My father had a magical seal on my devil half before he even gave me the evil pieces that awoke in my well, but basically made me a devil and at least let me have my devil magic to some degree." In which someone goes like, "Wait, you were half?" He was like, in which he was like, "Yes, I was half human." In which that explains everything to her in one sentence. But anyway, so the game they're gonna play is just a fighting game. So basically, Kaneko will go up versus one of them. Let's just say Sanji, and basically he gets his butt whooped by Kaneko easily. And they kind of just make it like two people play, and then like whoever loses will take then the next person. So yeah, Kaneko wins the next 5 fights, but then she loses to the sixth one. Then it's Kiba. He takes down the opponent very quickly, but then he loses to the next opponent. Then it's Akano, in which, well, she basically never played any fighting game before, so she kind of loses. Next up is Issei. And he goes, I'll take it easy. I won't, well, try that much, but I'm sorry for if I, well, finish it too quickly. In which this person says, it's not gonna basically go that quick. I'm gonna give you a run for your money. He was like, alright then. And basically, well, in a matter of a few minutes, Issei wins. And then, Sanjiri lost, so then it's Tsubaki, Sonya, then the next person, and the next. And that technically is it, actually. Well, that's all of them, which that kind of surprised everyone. Which Issei was like, I've only got recently into this game, so I mean, I don't play it that much. I'm not very good at fighting games. I just butt and mash, to be honest. In which that kind of is like, wow, that worked. So, so he was like, well, it looks like we're gonna have to go, well, next month for Yasanji, which is like, oh man. So basically, though, Issei was like, oh wait, we never introduced ourselves. As you know, I'm Issei Hudo, or Issei Satan. And this, as an Azia introduced herself, Sanji, you know, was about to do what he did in Canada. He was like, Then Issei looks at him, like, death stared for a minute, but then stopped. And then he goes like, my name is Sanji, whatever his last name is, at the time, Genichiro, so it's a pleasure to meet you. So after that, they kind of just stay in the room just to chat for a little bit. And Sonya asks, "So, how many magical spells do you know, or what type of magic do you use? That's the main one." And Issei just says, "Well, I guess the main thing you can say is blood magic and shadow magic. I basically have ice magic along with water, fire, wind, and electricity, including earth. Even gravity magic. Wait, I need to call Ajuka. I need to ask him if he has any, well, books on gravity magic. That'll become very good and handy. Especially one of the gravity magic that can go around your body." In which that kind of causes, Sonya's, well, shock a little bit. And she was, well, that's a wide variety of magic you have. He was like, that's not even the tip of the iceberg. I can also use creation magic, time magic for a split second, along with then, well, summoning magic, as you can see. And basically, I also have a magical pocket dimension. It's infinite. it keeps anything I want, like food, in a suspended animation, which that kind of surprises her. But anyways, after that, we would technically go to that night. I mean, yeah, basically that night, as when they will arrive in the Familiar Forest. So, as the guide of the forest, basically the Familiar Master, basically helps Azia find the dragon. That basically she gets in canon, and it's Ryusei, I think it was called. Basically, as Issei is just walking around, he basically sees, well, something strange. I basically though I think my friend basically I asked my friend this question um because I talked to him about this, and I was talking about the familiar part. I was gonna give him a three-headed dog, but then he said, "What about a snake?" And I'm like, I didn't want to go down that route, but so I'm just gonna go with the snake one because it makes a little more sense. But I'm not gonna make it an ordinary one. Like an ordinary, it's basically familiar, so it's not gonna be an ordinary one. Um, so basically though, if you guys are saying it should be the three-headed dog, then let me know in the comments, or it should be both. But anyways, so as basically Issei is looking at the snake looks at him, and he basically puts out his hand as it just like slithers onto him. While it does, Issei knows it has like some like scales that basically are up, basically, like a shark's fin. As when it wraps around his neck, he goes, "So, what type of snake are you?" As basically the familiar master goes like, "Oh, that snake. That's very rare for them to be around." He's like, "Huh? What do you mean?" He's like, "Wow, you see the blue eyes and the its white scales. It's basically it's mostly lives in snow areas, and they're very attracted to things with magical power. That's of how should I say this? Like basically Sirzex. As Issei kind of just chuckles. He was like, "What can it do?" He's like, "It can do plenty of things. It basically can even cause a winter storm if, basically it camouflage itself in it. And it can even grow in size." In which Issei goes like, "Huh, interesting. Well, that's very interesting. I think will name you. Hmm. What's a good name for a snake? How about Blizzard? Do you like it?" As the snake just looks at Issei and just puts its head down, he's like, "Okay, I guess you don't like it. Um, hmm. Snow?" As the snake just looks at him, he's like, what?" As nothing. And so he's like, "Okay, um, not give a name, so, I'll just be Blizzard." And it popped into my head first, so, eh. So yeah. After that, basically Issei and Azia do make the pact with their familia, and they do head home. So there is technically a clear difference in this. Will be is well, Riser will technically appear. Griffia does appear with two. Rias, and Rias will not come over and try to sleep with Issei. In this case, he gets a text from Ravel, and basically she explained the situation to him. He goes, "Right." So he explained the situation to Azia, and she goes, "Okay." So after that, though, while on the way home, she was so Issei. They say this is Azia asking. It's like, "Yes. Do you know who you can put in part of your parage besides me?" He goes, "Hmm. Well, let me just double check with what you got first." As all of a sudden he basically just senses, basically closes his eyes, makes a magical circle, as then all of a sudden it appears right next to Ajuka. As he goes, hello? Who's this? He goes like, oh, Hajuka, it's me, Issei. He's like, oh, Issei, what is it? He was like, um, am I allowed to basically make? He was like, yes, yes, you are. Do not worry. And, um, do you have any magical books on, well, gravity magic? Specifically, if one has a chapter on condensing gravity magic around someone's body, in which Hajuka says, I think I do. I'll look into it, but yes, it's alright for you to have a Parage. It's better to have one now than later. He was like, thank you. And when she hands up the phone, he's like, well, as I was saying before, if I could, you know, I would ask these to what I can do now. When she goes, wait, who are they? He's like, well, they're part of the Kendo team. They're pretty good swordsmen, so I was thinking they can become my knights. And besides, with the extra training that they get, well, technically helping and fighting strays, it could be, well, big duo. And, well, basically could see how much damage they can put on me. In which Azir was like, oh, I see. But for right now, that's not going to happen. As then, all of a sudden, while Issei and Azia are basically talking, they bump into someone. As they see Issei goes like, oh, my apologies. As, well, he grabs the hand of this guy, basically that has you know, basically the hand of this guy, so he lifts him up. He was like, hi, my name is Issei Hudo. As then he says, oh, my name is Edward Elric, but you can just call me Ed. In which, yeah, it's basically Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist. He was like, huh, interesting. It's a pleasure to meet you then, Ed. This, well, my companion here is named Asia Argento. It's, again, a pleasure to meet you. And he was, yeah, hey, I know this may sound weird and all, but, I've been in this, well, city for a couple of years, and the magical power you have is really insane, man. Never felt it before. Which Azia and, you know, Issei are in shock. And you're like, well, I know I'm not supposed to say that, but I just wanted to ask you a question. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, this may sound weird, but can you help me on something real quick? With all that magic you have, I think you can basically spare some time. As Issei goes like, huh? So Ed explains everything, even about telling he's an alchemist. And, well, he needs help to enhance something, and he doesn't have the right magic, basically, or, well, he can't do magic but alchemy. And when she goes, oh, so you want me to enhance something, a metal, right? Or anything. He's like, yeah, technically, a metal. And well, Issei goes like, I see, but how do you know about the supernatural? And he's like, well, technically my dad has a shop that I help him with, so we technically get supernatural beings coming there every so often. In which Issei just goes like, ah. So, they basically go to Edward's dad's shop, in which technically they do, he basically enhances the, well, item that they wanted, in which basically Edward says, thanks man, we really needed this. It would cost us a lot of money just to get it simple enhanced by, well, a devil or someone with magic that would do it. It basically costs a lot of money and then time. As Lisa just sighs and be like, greedy, aren't they? And she goes, yeah. Ozzy was like, wow, I didn't know you can use enhancement magic. It was like, it's not perfect, but simple enhancements. What he needed was, well, something like, I could easily just do. So, I did not mind. But anyways, Edward, it's a pleasure to meet you again, but we must get going. In which he nods. So basically, after that, they do leave, and Edward's saying, huh, I really like that guy. So, after that, they head home. Ravel is there, and Ozzy is there. And he's like, well then, ladies, let's start your training. in which they nod. Azia, though, has learned some good magic. It's low tier magic, but good enough to defend herself with. Ravel has basically learned how to control her fire and basically morph it into anything she wants. Issei has, well, basically learned a little bit more about, well, some magics. I'm not gonna say what, but basically, though, he's also helped Azia to, well, basically try to make some attacks become even bigger and more damaging. And also, even, like, teach her some, well, actual, like, defense magic. So, yeah. So, basically, after that, um, actually, yeah, after that, we technically would be at the Riser introduction. But I will save that for later. But anyways, though, after that's done, Ravel goes like, Issei, he's gonna be there tomorrow. What are you gonna do? He's like, I have a plan. It's, well, it'll be kind of funny for you. For me, who knows? I'll just have to see. But anyways, good night, Ravel. Hope to see you tomorrow. Probably will. And she does nod. Basically, Asia basically waits by for Ravel as, well, she basically tells Issei she's gonna go to bed, but then I think Issei would tell her something, but hmm, I don't think nothing. But anyways, though, after that, Issei does nod and basically goes up to his room and basically sleeps. And while he's sleeping, Azia is just basically happy that she's not, well, being treated any different. So yeah. So that's where I'm gonna leave it off, everyone. Well, no, wait, no, wait. So Issei basically, while he's sleeping, he basically visits Drake, and Drake just says, "So, partner, how's everything going?" He's like, "It's going pretty good," and well, and basically, it's just gonna be a normal day for me, in which this person does not. So Naruto gets all the way to school, and well, not Naruto. Well, I just dozed. I was dozing off there. Well, Issei gets to school, and then well, basically they're in the cult research club. As he basically asks, wait. I need to backtrack. We need to backtrack. No way. So he said Drake basically tell Issei on how well he did. Yeah, he was at the Drake. He was basically talking to Drake after he basically was gonna go to bed. So yeah, basically Drake is just telling him how well he's doing and how basically much strength he has gained. And basically, he'll probably get a basic message from Ajuka about the gravity magic. So he gets some rest. And which Issei nods, and well, he's basically just gonna go to sleep. Now we can end it off because I messed up the last part and I feel embarrassed. So I'm still gonna upload this. Anyways, hope you guys have a nice night, day, wherever you are. Bye.